So during the total eclipse that we've all been waiting for, what will the wildlife will be doing? We'll find out more from Wildlife Education Coordinator, Ohio Division of Wildlife, Abby Ditomassi, is in to tell us more about it. And thanks for joining us, Abby.
Thanks for having me, Holly.
Okay, so you guys really will be watching wildlife, right? Because they could act differently during this eclipse?
Well, yeah, we're actually encouraging everyone to watch wildlife. If you're already going to be looking up at the sun during this total eclipse that's happening on April 8th, 2024, mark your calendars. You might as well keep your eyes and ears listening and looking for wildlife because lots of past studies have shown that animals change their behavior. So if you think of animals that are nocturnal, these are animals that could come out during the eclipse because what happens during an eclipse is the moon passes in between the earth and the sun, completely blocking out the sun. So it is going to feel like total darkness, depending on where you are in Ohio, for anywhere between 2 to 4 minutes. So in that 2 to 4 minutes, we could potentially see animals thinking that it's nighttime, coming out and foraging, just starting to become active. But then the opposite may happen. You have these animals that are diurnal, which means they're active during the day, and they can maybe freeze up or stop foraging. They take cover. You even have animals that are crepuscular, which means that they like to come out during dusk and dawn. And a sort of fake dusk and dawn is going to happen as well during this eclipse. It's not just going to go dark and then light again. It's going to gradually happen. So animals just may be confused, stirring, and we just want to have everyone kind of making observations about what is happening out there.
Okay, so do you want us to officially sign up somewhere? How can we get involved in this?
Yeah, so there's going to be an iNaturalist project. If you've never used iNaturalist, I suggest you Google it. There's a way that you can use it on your desktop just with a computer, or if you have a phone, there is an app that you can use. So you'll want to get this iNaturalist app. You may want to start practicing ahead of time because what iNaturalist is a way to report wildlife. If you find something in your backyard, maybe a cool bee that you've never seen before, and you want to know what it is, you can take a picture of it, post it to iNaturalist, and experts like naturalists or researchers will go in and help you identify what that species is. So you can start just by practicing. But then during eclipse day, what I want to see is that, say you're just going to watch the eclipse in your backyard. What I would suggest is just going outside in your backyard, maybe an hour before, and just seeing what animals are out there. Is there a robin out there looking for worms? Is there a squirrel looking for nuts in the yard? If you're seeing that, make an observation. Hey, I see these animals foraging around in my backyard. Then at eclipse time, do you still see them? Are they gone? Did they fly away? Did you see a bat come out? Do you hear an owl? Then you would make that observation on the eclipse when it's darkness. And then I would like you to make observations 30 minutes after. Did those animals come back? Did they leave? So you're just starting that scientific inquiry because eclipses, they don't happen very often. Here in Ohio, this is our first one that we'll have since 1806, and we won't have one until 2099. So scientists can't just trace around the world like making these observations on their own. So they need our help. We need citizens like you to just make these basic observations.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, like, if you have birds in your yard that are at the feeder and they're chirping, you think they might stop chirping and things like that? I mean, is that some of the things we might see?
Yeah. Past studies have seen birds that quiet down. It's going to be interesting for us. A lot of the eclipses have happened in August. So ours happening in April is going to be really interesting. Our April, we all know in Ohio, our weather can be really interesting on what's happening in that early April time. So it may just depend on what type of animals we'll be seeing, but birds are usually breeding and calling a lot in April. So I would be interested to see how their calls change. Now it is in the evening. The eclipse is going to happen, the totality, the darkness is going to happen around 3:10 to 3:20, depending on where you are. So birds tend to quiet down in the afternoon, but they may still be chirping. But that foraging behavior, the feeding behavior may stop because they don't want to be out there at your feeder if a nocturnal animal like owls may come out to feed on them. So they're going to want to go and look for cover. So that may be something interesting to look for.
Wow, this is interesting that this can trick some animals, so to speak. So it'll be fun to be able to, take part in all this study and stuff. So thank you very much for telling us about it. Hopefully we can help out some of our viewers.
Yes, yep. And if you have questions, always reach out to wildohio.gov, 1-800-WILDLIFE. We can help you, get you started if you have questions.
All right. Well, Abby, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Holly.
All right, don't go away. Noon Edition continues in a moment.